office hours. As you might have known in the past, we have done 2 weeks of developer office hours, but today we're going to be doing the startup office hours. So I'm very pleased and happy to be joined today with two special guests. We have Autumn and Chuck. Autumn and Chuck, could each one of you describe your name, your role? I mean, talk about your name, your role, and what you do here at Vonage, and anything else you want to share.
I guess I'll go first. So I'm Chuck Reeves. I'm the senior developer advocate here at Vonage. I mainly work on maintaining our backend SDKs for PHP, Python, and Node, and I also build out our CLI tools. So if anyone's having any issues with those, please let me know because I always appreciate the feedback and try to make them better.
Amazing. Thanks, Chuck. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Autumn Peñalosa. I joined the Vonage team in late 2025 to lead the startup program, which was announced mid 2025. And so this is what I do day to day is bringing on new teams to join the program and supporting these early stage teams through their onboarding process. And so excited to see who we have here today and what questions we can unblock for you.
Thank you so very much. I really appreciate both of you joining today, and we will just jump straight into it. So, just like the other office hours, I do have a few slides that I have up front just to kind of get us all aligned on what we're doing here today. So, let me go ahead and begin with this. So, today's session, as mentioned a little bit earlier, is all about the Vonage Startup Office Hours. This is a 60-minute session that we're going to be doing today. And really, we've kind of got three principles that we kind of have been going by. Number one, it's just a live Q&A. So it is real-time startup support and help. So you've got several members of the team that has been working with that day in and day out. It's also led by the DevRel team here, and really, what this is hands on learning where it is conversational. If you've got a question, there's no question that's too easy or too hard for us. If it's too difficult, then obviously, if we don't know it, we will find you the right answer. But it's also something that I call very practical. So, practical startup. Information that really just helps you kind of get on your way and get yourself unblocked here. So, with that being said, a little bit of housekeeping. So, what this is, I always say that this is a chance to participate, not necessarily to escalate. For participate with that is that obviously it's live questions and answers, and really just any type of real-time support. It definitely isn't a place that folks do things like um, escalate support tickets, people that maybe has production outages or some sort of SLA bound. We have channels for that you can join, and obviously get those through our tracking system appropriately to make sure that you get resolved in the right amount of time. So it's super easy to get started here. It's just simply drop some questions in the live chat below. We are available on all of these videos that we create are 100% available over on our Vonage Developer YouTube channel. So if you do want to check out some of the past episodes, you can. Those are still up. And then also some of your best questions will be cut out and will be used on the YouTube channel to help others learn from that. Again, urgent issues, visit the Vonage support portal. And I've got some more information kind of coming up on that. So let's look at the schedule really quickly here. So here we are. We are at May the 26th. I hope y'all all had a very good holiday yesterday, those in the US and UK with the bank holiday. And so now we're right back on it on Tuesday, and we are doing the startup session. Those of you that are very specifically wanting to learn more about startup related stuff, we're going to have another one of these happening at June the 23rd. 2026. And so, as you can see, that one is also right around this same time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific or 1 o'clock Eastern. Now, those of you that knows me from the developer days, absolutely, we're still doing our developer related content, and those will resume next week. And we have a couple of different sessions kind of going on from there, with the next one being our UK session, which is geared towards 3 p.m. UK time. Now, one real quick message over here with this sessions at a glance or session at a glance is that we have 3 segments. We're just about done with the first one. Then we're about to go into live Q&A, and then we will wrap up and stay connected at the end. Now, this is some more information that I wanted to pass along, and that is what's the best way to get technical support as a startup member. So, all startups, as we can see, they're in the essentials support plan. And so it provides this coverage 24/5 coverage and an SLO. And here's kind of the path. So typically with API errors and bugs, there is a support ticket, which is your primary way. There is some quick developer guidance. I know while we may not be speaking specifically about developer today, there's definitely a place that you can add that to. And then for common issues, first stop, there is an Ask AI bot that is on the support page. And then for learning and API docs, it's over here at the Vonage developer page. So we might be going into this in just a second. So let's go ahead now. And before we get started with the startup related questions, let's go ahead and let's play a little video that kind of just introduces you to Vonage and some of the content that and features that we've been working on. So let me go ahead and stop sharing this, and we will get a quick video queued up and played for you. It only lasts about a minute or so. So we'll see if we can get that started up.
Welcome to the Vonage Developer YouTube channel. Vonage developers build and maintain a suite of programmable communications APIs that enable individuals and businesses to embed real-time voice, video, messaging, and authentication features into their applications and workflows. Vonage developers support advanced use cases with network-powered APIs for enhanced security and rich communication services. Just plug in our APIs and let us do the hard work for you. The Vonage developer community is here to help you integrate powerful features into your apps fast. From hands-on tutorials via the Vonage developer blog, to rich developer documentation, migration guides, and deep dive video walkthroughs, we make learning communications APIs fun and accessible. Whether you're coding solo or part of a big team, we've got SDKs for every stack. JavaScript, Python, PHP, and more. And if you ever get stuck, our docs, blogs, and global Slack developer community are just one click away. If you need something urgent, we also have 24/7 dedicated support to help you get on your way. So if you're ready to build something amazing, subscribe to stay updated with the latest content. And don't forget to join our Slack to connect with developers worldwide. You bring the ideas, Vonage brings the tools. Whatever you want to build, Vonage does that.
Excellent. I hope that video helped out a little bit there, giving a little bit of an overview of everything that we do. So at this point, what I'm going to do is go ahead and share my screen again. And we are going to kick it off with an open floor now that folks had a little bit of time to ask some questions here. So let me take a look at the chat here. So first off, it looks like we have got Evo Hire. Autumn states here, welcome, part of Vonage's first startup program cohort. Anything to add in there to that, Autumn?
No, I'm happy to see them here, and just wondering if there's a specific question we can answer, or if it's just showing up to support.
Got it. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
I don't see one yet, but
Yes. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it in there. It looks like there is another question, but I don't think I'm understanding exactly what that is. It looks like they had a problem statement of some memory fragmentation. So while we are going over some of these other things, Go KUL. I'm sorry, I can't see it very well. Prakash 2014. If you can, just leave a little bit more information in there, and we will take a look of for that. We'll take a look into that. So while we're doing that, and while we're waiting for that to come through, let's go to. I want to go back a slide here, and I was thinking first off, um, for those of you that are brand new, which it seems like we always have a ton of brand new folks that join, I always want to kind of give just a little bit more information about Vonage for startups here. So let me do a couple of things as we kind of walk through this. So the first thing is that I'm going to put this URL into the chat where anybody here can take a look at it. We're going to start wrapping up all these URLs since people seem to enjoy that. And so I went ahead and I took a look at this. And while Autumn is the expert on it, I just wanted to walk through a few little things that I saw as I was playing around with this. So the first thing is that over here, there is an apply now button that is on this. So if you are a startup that and you want to get some API credits, you can apply directly from this link right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click on it and give it just a second here to spin up, just so you can kind of see some of the information that is required. And so we'll let that spin up there. And so, yeah, so this might be interesting for some of you. So Vonage for startup, if you're interested in it for consideration, you need to be in one of these criterias here, and you can fill out your details down here below, and Autumn will get you in connected. There's also a community that I see over here where it's easy to jump in, get started, and then ask questions. There's a couple of different things here in the what can you expect. And Autumn, is there anything you would like to call out in this section right here? Anything that could be very helpful?
Thanks, Michael. I think one thing that maybe we could address is sort of the timeline. Um, when teams apply, it can take up to, say, 6 weeks or so from the time they apply to if they are accepted to getting onboarded, to getting addendums created and accounts provisioned with the specific API services they've requested. I wanted to call that out, that it can take up to 6 weeks for all of that to take place and for the first credits to be deposited. I know we've had some experience where teams, arrive and they just have a super urgent need to move fast. And sometimes we can make it work, but a lot of times it's much better if everyone, has an understanding of that timeline. So I think that's one thing we don't address really well on the startup website here. But yeah, I mean, I think the basic um, gist of this is it is a 2-year program and providing support across essentially 3 pillars, right? So API usage credits, API services credits, and then the healthcare security bundles for the teams that need them. So those are kind of the 3 pillars of support that teams can expect. And again, the program's intended to last for 2 years, but no one has to stay if they're growing so fast that they need to move on to enterprise pricing with their own account manager. That we'd consider that a win. But otherwise, the program is meant to be 2 years. And yeah, so I think those are kind of the basics. Everything else is on the website. And um, yeah, startups@vonage.com is an email address you can send over with any questions that you're not finding there on that page.
Excellent, excellent. And yeah, there's a bunch of different resources in here, as well as there's this FAQ. And if you do want that email address again, it's just down here at the very bottom, which is just startups@vonage.com. Okay, so it looks like a few more of the questions have come in. So let me just go ahead and switch back over to this. So here is the next question. It says, we've implemented the audio connector by using the Node.js sample as a reference and built our own audio connector in Go with bidirectional streaming. Now I can see there's a new dedicated video connector Python SDK. Our use case is bidirectional audio only streaming. And should we look into migrating to the video connector SDK with the video connector supporting audio only? Want to know if the audio connector still has long term support. So, this one might be interesting to run by Chuck
Mhm.
since he's on that SDK team. So, let me just pass it over to Chuck for a second, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Just making sure. So I just want to first say about the uh, memory fragmentation. We don't officially support Go in our. We have a community-driven SDK for Go, so we won't be able to do much support for memory fragmentation issues that you could be having. In terms of the audio connector long-term support, I am checking in with the video team to see if that's going to be supported long term. I know they've been doing some tweaking on the streaming portions to make it more performant. So that could also be what's going on right there. We do have the video connector Python SDK. We also have it in Node, PHP, Ruby. So all the official languages support .NET and Java. If you're fine using the Python, definitely give that one a go because that has very good support along with the Node SDK. Those are our two big popular SDKs that will always get the most attention, and all the other ones we do have full support for them as well too. So we'll go there. Uh, let's see. Reply. We don't have a memory fragmentation issue. We go native WebSocket SDKs for our connector implementation. Yes. So with the WebSockets, that could cause some dropped packet issues going on because what we do is we expose the WebRTC for that to allow you to stream in right there. SDP ITPs. Oh, that's a different question right there. So with that, that could be what's going on is that the network is just getting overloaded between the WebSockets and the audio connector. I know with video and voice, we do allow streaming connectors through us. So instead of having it go from your app to Vonage, it might be best just to connect to the Vonage connector because we'll forward that along over to you. But I can get a. I'm going to check the Node reference app as well too to make sure that's all up to date. It's been a while since I've touched it. I know some other members on our team who have been working with the video team have been updating some of that stuff. So I will, and if you want, you can definitely reach out to me in our community Slack as well too. This way, I can follow when I get information about the support. I can follow up with you there if that's okay with you.
That is very good. Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Please all take advantage of being able to chat with us in our Slack. And that way we can make sure that we get you the information. And plus, this whole team is there. So that's even better. And that's a lot easier. Let me jump over to another question that was added in here. And this one is from Julian. I can see it now properly. So, hello, Julian. It says, how to improve latency across Latin America. For example, Argentina and Brazil, they're far away from the Vonage servers, and our solutions depend upon them. Well, there is a couple of things that at least I can suggest off the bat, and then we'll see if some of the others has any additional things. First off, this is absolutely something that's common. Latency is always a big deal, no matter where that you're at, and obviously customers that's in Argentina and Brazil, connecting to U.S. West data centers, can be like 400 milliseconds all the way to like 2,000 milliseconds. So I know there's a few things that we can do. The first one, and I'm going primarily based off of memory, which is great about these live things, but you can use, there is a Brazil data center that you can take advantage of. It supports standard in enterprise environments with the Brazil regional media zone support. So by default, the sessions they may have been routed to the US West, which causes that. So you can do this thing. It's called a location hint, and maybe this would be a good place to drop in a little bit of a code snippet. But when you create a session, you pass the Brazilian IP address as a location hint. This automatically tells Vonage to use the Sao Paulo DC for the session control server versus using one somewhere else. There is also a Brazil RMZ, which is a regional media zone, that is also a paid. It is a paid add-on that guarantees that all media stays within the Brazil traffic data centers. So that is an option there. There's also something that is called Media Mesh. This was deployed, I think, earlier this year, and so this automatically connects each participant to the nearest regional place, regardless of where the session was created. So I think there is a couple of different things we could do. So like using location hint and media mesh possibly together could be an option for that. Does any of the other team members have any other suggestions or thoughts, or maybe wants to add on to that? Something maybe I'm missing?
I was gonna ask Julian if this is for voice and video, or just video or voice, this way I can get the right snippet over
Yep.
on how to set that up, or also the language too, so I can pull up the correct SDK snippet.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. That would be very good. And I believe it is for the video, but we will double check on
Yeah,
that.
just want to make
Um,
sure before going into the rabbit hole.
yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to Evo Hire, and they said we don't have a memory fragmentation issue. We use Go Native WebSockets SDK for our connector implementation. Anything else to add on to that, Chuck?
Yeah, it goes back to what I was saying before. I think what could be happening is that with the WebSocket and the streaming going on, that the latency is the network latency is backing up a bit. Which is why I suggested going, instead of having both your app and Vonage connect to it, connect to the Vonage side so that will stream it out to you instead. Uh, but yeah, I was just going off of the previous statement up there, which I thought was from Evil Hire, but that was from somebody else, a different person. So my mistake on that.
No worries, no worries, no
Yeah,
worries. Um,
but yeah.
I tell you what, let's see what else we've got in here. Let's see. Going back to Go, um, let's see. What is happening? SIP RTP objects, thousands of tiny allocations per second, punch hole in the heap. Default default Linux alligator RSS keeps growing due to SLA breach. So I think we might want to talk a little bit more to that person that wrote those in there, so we can understand the question a little bit better. I'm not sure I understand the question at this moment.
This
Um,
this may also be a support issue as well,
yeah,
since it looks like SIP packets are being dropped.
yeah,
That
and
shouldn't be happening.
so
So we'll probably have to dig into that a little bit more, which we would need the support team because they'll have access to look at all the logs specific to your account as well too. Try to figure out what technical reasons can be going on with that. Um,
very,
yeah.
yes, that could absolutely be it. And of
Hmm.
course, I just dropped the link in there in case that's it, or you can come and you can drop that into the chat. So the next thing that I want to talk about here is there is this other question, and this one says, how do I know what my credits cover and how are they structured? So I believe this one would go to Autumn. How do I know what my credits cover and how are they structured?
Hi, Michael. Yeah, thank you for that. I do get that question quite a bit. So, the credits for the startup program cover essentially three areas: API usage, that is all of the API SMS, video, voice, network APIs. So, all of your API usage, and then API services. So, the essential support plan. A lot of teams are selecting also the Accelerate pack, which includes things like code reviews, managed deploys, technical workshops with product specialists. And then it also covers the healthcare security bundle for those teams that require, HIPAA compliance and BAA letters for their APIs in the US. So, yeah,
Awesome,
I
awesome,
think that
awesome.
covers it.
Excellent. So let me throw another one your way. Does the healthcare security bundle cover all APIs such as voice, SMS, and video?
Yes, another great question. Yes, it covers typically one healthcare security bundle for one API. We have at times been able to cover actually two healthcare security bundles to cover two APIs. So essentially two BAA letters is what that would equate to. And so that can be done. It just means that there's less sort of credit budget, if you will, to put towards some of the other API services that other teams are leveraging. So that kind of becomes your whole benefit under the API services category. So yes, we can go up to two HIPAA BAAs, but typically it's just the one.
Excellent. Appreciate that. So going back, there is another question here, and let me bring this one back up again. So, the next question here is, does the video API support WebRTC? We have a Proxian solution, which is Proxian WebSocket data between the Vonage Stream and 11 Labs. Would be good to understand if WebRTC is an option. Yes, the Vonage video connector, it absolutely fully supports WebRTC. It's literally one of the core like transport mechanisms that's currently available there. There's obviously lots more details on, I believe that that connector SDK is like a Python wrapper, but I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, Chuck would probably know, but I don't think you really are looking for that information. But yeah, since it connects with like WebRTC, it would do things like supporting bidirectional audio and video streams if you wanted to like publish and subscribe. WebRTC also gives you things like higher audio sample rates, um, lower latency, since we've been talking about it, since there's no bridge in between that and WebSockets. And then you can also use AI ML servers to participate since it's just a standard WebRTC uh, endpoint there.
Yeah, a lot
L-
of I
Yep.
know a lot of solutions out there using WebRTC and for the likes are so this way you can record your own streams, you can use your own transcription or captioning services if you need to for compliance reasons. It allows you to stream out to archive your own bucket since we're fully HIPAA and GDPR compliant. We don't keep records of the streams that long. I think the default's 24 hours, and then you can up it to 72. But after that, we'll remove all those information from our servers and purge it. So it's a lot of use cases there to connect to your own stream, so you can process it as you need to afterwards. So we're just brokering everything for you.
Yep. Nice and easy, which is the way that it
Mhm.
should be. Uh, getting you up and running as fast as possible. This next one here actually would probably be for Autumn. Autumn, it says here that my outbound SMS messages are being rejected. what's happening, and I think that that one might be one for you.
Sure. Yeah, I can answer this one in in a general sense. So, when the outbound SMS messages are being rejected, most commonly that's caused by Vonage's spam filter. Detecting content that triggers kind of our compliance rules, including profanity, lots of other categories, content restricted content categories. So, this is super common for US traffic, especially. So if this happens, your first line of defense is always as soon as possible, submit a support ticket to the Vonage support portal with your message content and the ticket details, as much information as you could provide. Um, our internal team will then, review and where possible whitelist specific terms if they can. So
Excellent. Another great question. Keep them coming. I see there's still a queue, so I'm just going to keep rolling through some of these questions. We're already 30 minutes in. It's been super quick. Okay, so the next one here is there a possibility of increasing the call concurrency limit or creating sub accounts that can handle their own limitations regarding concurrency and API request? So here's what I know. I know that there was no like literal hard limit on concurrent calls. I think that most of the restraints was on CPS, which is the calls per second, which I think governs the rate at which these new calls can be initiated. But I'd absolutely love to hear if Chuck's got some input on that one.
I believe when it comes to sub accounts, since that is currently a managed feature, in order to set the currency for each individual account, you would have to talk to the account manager that you have in order to access that. Um, there's no API, there's no opening in the API to set the concurrency for sub accounts that I know. So I'd reach out to the account manager and then we can definitely look into that and getting that updated.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, that's a really good one. Y'all are asking amazing questions, just like you always do. These are good for us too. So let me look over here and let's see what is next. Um, my account was suspended. How do I resolve it? We'll give that one to Autumn.
thanks, Michael. Let's see. So again, account suspensions are typically triggered by Vonage's, fraud protection mechanisms, detecting some sort of theoretically suspicious usage activity or payments. This can happen for super legitimate customers and startups, especially if it's very early in the account kind of life cycle. And so again, first line of defense, get that support ticket in the queue. You for this specific account suspension issue, you want to provide KYC documentation like business registration, EIN if you have it. Um, and if the issue isn't resolved promptly, always you can email your ticket number to your account manager, which if you're in the startup program is me. So we can try to escalate that internally and get you unblocked. But oh, and then note word to the wise, creating a new account to try to bypass the suspension will almost always delay resolution. So work with that existing account first. Yeah.
Yeah, please don't do that because if you do, it takes a little bit more time in order to get it resolved. And I understand you're eager and wanting to jump into that. But yeah, there's a couple of different methods that I talked about a little bit earlier, or there's four methods that you can use uh, to to help bypass that. So yeah, definitely don't create just a brand new account. Um, Contact us and we will help you with that. Let me take a look and let's see what else we've got here. So another question here is can you tell us a bit about the location verify APIs and what's the process to get access to this app? So for the location APIs, really we offer two kind of related ones here. So one of them is the device location verification API. This checks to see whether a mobile number is within a specified geographical area, and it uses the cellular network positioning. So cellular networks. This is not using GPS um, that you might be used to here. So the API it requests it contains the MSI SDN number, and no, I do not remember what that stands for, but it is a phone number that you need and the location to be checked. And then it gives there's a precision radius. It's like between 2 kilometers and 200 kilometers. And so that response indicates whether the device's last known network location falls within that range. So, kind of the key feature there is that location signals derived from cellular networks they can't be spoofed like a GPS is. I know we've all been dealing with that. And then the second one is the device location retrieval API. And by the way, I might be messing up these names somewhere, but hopefully you get my point. And that one is all about retrieving the last known location of a SIM enabled device that's connected to the network using the cellular network positioning. There's tons and tons of different use cases for using these. So, like, for example, if you're in banking or e commerce, it's really like verifying that a user is at their home or their address, maybe during like account creation, or if there's things like really high value transactions. So, um, yeah, as I've bought things over my life, things that are too expensive, there's usually a little extra verification that is in on that. Retail banking, they use it for like point of sale verification. IoT, everything from like drone tracking to parcel tracking. We've been getting that here recently where there's deliveries through drones, which is blowing my mind. Yeah, and a couple of other places. So, in order to get access to those, first off, you do need to go to developer.vonage.com if you don't already have one and you need to sign up for a developer account. The next thing is that with this, I believe there might be parts of the network registry that you might have to fill out. But then after that, there's a playground, there's a virtual operator, kind of like for testing. Um, and yeah, and obviously this also depends, just making sure your location and things of that nature. So we have uh, we have a couple of different resources available for that. You can obviously go over to the developer.vonage.com and you can take a look at some of those. And then on our blog is where we've had some of those kind of use cases. Great question. Love them. Keep them coming. I will continue monitoring those. I've got another question here, and this one is I'll give this one to Autumn. Autumn, my account is in Euro, uh, but I'm a US based company. How can I change it to USD? Uh oh, they're not going to like that answer.
No, I haven't liked it either, Michael. Thank you. Yes, this happens a decent amount. So if your account is in euro and you're a US based company, the short answer is no, you cannot currently change that currency on your account. Basically, the options are to create a new account in USD or just keep the euro, keep the account in euro and just sort of manage the any sort of like currency display issues that you may have with it. But we're definitely the preferred route is to change it to the correct currency that will suit you for the long term. And if you need help with that, feel free to reach out to me or to the support team, and we can help you manage those steps. Sounds like I need to maybe create, or we as a team need to create maybe a next a deep FAQ, on exactly how to do that, to follow those steps to change your currency. That's something we can work on.
Excellent, excellent. Hopefully that helps with that question. And let's see what else we've got here. So let's go back into the chat here. And we see going back to the location API, it says, oh, we were hoping to confirm the country of the device's location, but it may be too large of an area. Um, Chuck, I see you just responded. Oh no, that was to another one. Chuck, do you have any insights to share on that one?
Yeah, I was going to say we can use number insights, but that product has recently been updated to identity insights. So I'm just going into that API right now to see if you can get the country back from the number, and that's gonna give you where the phone number was registered to. That doesn't necessarily tell them they're in that country. So
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a difference there to it, which is why we're updating it, because the idea is identity insights will pull in all of these network APIs that we're working on with the location services and the SIM swap. So we're trying to unify it into one device. I'm checking the API reference right now just to double check the response.
and I do remember,
Mhm.
Chuck, this was in at one point there was a device status API, but I know it's been
Yeah,
deprecated.
yeah, that's been deprecated too. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the identity insights API will give you location. Actually, it gives you location and it gives you location verification as well, which is in developer preview. So that's telling me that that will just seamlessly become available, so you don't need to look at the location API. But again, we can as keep in mind the identity insights is considered a beta product kind of, because parts of it are still in development and other parts are available for use. So some of that stuff might change. But I will share the link for the API snippet in the chat for the the API specification, which you can see in there. You have the country that it was registered to, and it looks like the location stuff is coming in as well. So I'd keep an eye on that.
Excellent. Excellent. Very, very, very good stuff. Um, can you tell me more about the Ask AI bot? So let me do this. Let me exit out of this screen right here and let me bring up the bot here and let me just show it. Let's copy this and let me just drop this over here in the startup tab that I had open. And so if we click over on this, this is the Vonage API Help Center. And this is the button that uh, Autumn was referring to. This was the Ask AI button. And what's really interesting is that I showed this a couple of times in the last session where I think we were just trying to send a message in Node.js. And we were able to come in here and we were able to type in what that was, and we were able to get a pretty neat little response back. So it says right here, this is a custom LLM for Vonage that has full access to our documentation, tutorials, SDKs, and blogs. So if it ever happened, over here on like the Vonage developer blog, or maybe it's over in the documentation somewhere or something like that, you can absolutely use that Ask AI bot button, and you can get some information that is kind of coming back from that. And also, while you're here, you might as well go ahead and sign up for our newsletter and read some of our blog content while we are on here. Let me drop by and take a
Um,
look at the.
I just wanted to make another comment there. We do have an MCP server as
Yes.
well that's tied to our documentation site, and we're working on adding that to the SDKs, and I'm also working on adding skill files for the Vonage CLI. So keep checking that out as well as we develop that out more.
Very good call out there for
Mhm.
MCP related stuff. quite a bit that you can do with that. We already have a bunch of different posts that have been published over here. So, like, using the Vonage server and tooling MCP servers, which are live now on Postman. And yeah, there's a couple of blog posts in here if you want to kind of dig into some of these things, especially with like all the AI related stuff that I know a lot of people's been talking about, especially with Claude. And we've got a Claude meetup happening in London, I think, right now. So, anyways, let me take a look over at the chat here. Yeah, thanks, Evo Hire. Appreciate you for dropping in and asking a few questions. I know you have to drop now, but thanks for hosting. No problems whatsoever. And I tell you what, let's see. I think that is primarily all of the questions that we have got. I know there's only about 10 minutes or so left. So if anybody's got any extra questions, just do go ahead and drop them in there. I still have a slide or two to wrap up here with for today, but I obviously want everybody to be able to share any comments or questions that they have. And before I go to this last slide, is there anything, Autumn or Chuck, that you think might be beneficial to share out on the rest of this call?
Not from my perspective. I guess I just want to reiterate, the ways to get sorry, the ways to get support when needed, and that Ask AI bot is surprisingly robust. I can't tell you how many questions I've been able to answer during my initial calls with startups, just pulling up the bot and dropping their actual questions directly in there. So give it a shot, and then if that doesn't work, get a support ticket in the queue. So don't underestimate the power of the support team. And yeah, that's all I think I have on that topic for now. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my last slide here, and this is just resources. So if you have a question or you want to share what you're building, there's a bunches of ways to stay connected with us. The Vonage Developer Newsletter is something that my group runs, and so we have a monthly newsletter that comes out with all of the latest that's happening with things like our events, which meetups are we going to, and we're doing a ton of stuff in New York. If you're in the New York area, lots of stuff kind of going on there. There's tons of stuff everywhere, especially online too. So love to have you at the newsletter. It's only once a month, and we do not spam you with any other stuff. So if you do sign up, you will get our monthly newsletter, and that is it. We also are on a couple of different social media channels. So things like X or Twitter, as some of us have refused to call it X. LinkedIn is where we've made a huge investment. So if you do like LinkedIn, there is a LinkedIn developer page that you can join. And once you join that, you get updates about things like this right here, these sort of calls that we're doing, and really all of the amazing work that the whole team is doing in general. And then the third thing that I had on here, I know I'm kind of out of order, but it is the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is something we've been investing in quite a bit. If you would like to check that out, obviously, please do so and subscribe to the channel if you want some daily updates on that. So I just saw the pop up for the join the LinkedIn channel. So that is absolutely something that you probably would want to do with that. Okay, well, I believe that is going to conclude the episode for the day today. I wanted to say thank you all for all of the amazing questions here. We've had literally 42 minutes of questions, so that is great. I appreciate you all for dropping in, and continue watching the channel, and we'll give you more updates on that. So thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week with the developer office hours. Bye bye, everyone.